June 28, 1914, 10:45 a.m. Gavrilo Princip steps out of Schiller's delicatessen on Franz Joseph Street. He has a sandwich. The bomb went off 35 minutes earlier. He thinks the mission is over. The classified Black Hand operational files, suppressed for decades, would later confirm what they buried. The protection detail had already been rerouted. Someone made sure the Archduke would come to him. He is eating on a street corner when the open-topped Greifenstift rounds the corner and stops 6 feet away. The driver, Leopold Leuker, realizes he has turned onto the wrong street. He reaches for the gear lever. The engine stalls. That stall cost 20 million lives. 4 empires collapsed over the next 4 years. The Austro-Hungarian, the Ottoman, the Russian, the German. The war that grew from this one intersection killed a generation of European men and permanently reconfigured the map of the world. And the operational record of exactly how a failed assassin ended up face-to-face with his target, the files they didn't want opened, has never been fully declassified. So who actually placed Princip on that corner? Buried under a century of comfortable language about sandwiches and fate, tells a different story than the one most people know. Every decision point failed that day. Every named person in the chain of command made the wrong call, or no call at all. This is not a tragic accident of history. This is the documentation of a protection failure with a name on every link of the chain. Who benefits from a security plan that leaves 7 armed assassins on a single parade route? The day began with warnings no one acted on. Austro-Hungarian intelligence had flagged Serbian nationalist cell activity in Bosnia for months before June 28th. The Serbian Prime Minister, Nikola Pasic, sent a coded message to Vienna before the visit. Something was being planned against the Archduke. The warning arrived in Vienna. It was noted. Nothing changed. General Oskar Potiorek was the military governor of Bosnia and personally responsible for the security plan that day. He designed it. He approved it. It called for thin crowd lines along the route, no advance sweepers clearing the path ahead of the convoy, and no contingency protocol if a first attempt failed and was driven off. Standard doctrine for any dignitary of Franz Ferdinand's rank required the opposite of every one of those choices. Franz Ferdinand was not a comfortable figure for Vienna's war faction. He advocated reduced tensions with Serbia. He wanted reform inside the empire. He believed escalation would be catastrophic for everyone involved. The men inside the court who wanted a pretext for war with Serbia needed a different outcome than the men who wanted him alive. Potiorek's plan gave both possibilities equal footing. At 10:10 that morning, the first attempt came. Nedeljko Kabrinović was standing in the crowd along the Appel Quay when the convoy passed. He threw a hand grenade at the third car in the motorcade. It struck the folded convertible roof and bounced. It rolled under the following car and detonated. 2 officers were wounded. Several bystanders were hit. The correct response to a confirmed attack on a protected person is not complicated. Immediate extraction, alternate route, secure location, no deviation, no extraction order came. Franz Ferdinand continued to City Hall. Potiorek rode in the same car. He gave no extraction order. He triggered no contingency protocol. The Archduke delivered a composed and furious speech inside the building, while 6 more Black Hand assassins held their positions along the original parade route outside. The operational window stayed open for another 35 minutes. How does that happen? At City Hall, Franz Ferdinand decided to visit the wounded officers at the hospital. A humane instinct, a security nightmare. A route change was ordered. The convoy would divert to the Appel Quay and avoid the original route down Franz Joseph Street. The order was relayed. Potiorek was informed. Nobody told Leopold Leuker. Leuker was the lead driver. He was sitting at the wheel of the Archduke's car. The route change that determined whether the convoy passed Schiller's delicatessen was never communicated to the man driving the vehicle. Potiorek boarded the car. He did not speak to the driver. The convoy moved. At the Latin Bridge junction, Leuker turned right. Franz Joseph Street, the original route, the street that still had active assassins positioned along it. Count Franz von Harrach was on the running board. He saw the turn and shouted. Leuker hit the brake and reached for reverse. The engine stalled. The car sat motionless, 6 feet from Schiller's delicatessen. Princip had been standing in that doorway since the failed morning attempt. He was 19 years old. He had a pistol in his jacket, an FN model 1910 .380 caliber, purchased in Belgrade 6 weeks earlier. He had not expected another chance. He stepped forward. 2 shots. The first struck Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, in the abdomen. The second struck Franz Ferdinand in the jugular vein. Potiorek, the man who designed the security plan, who rode in the car, who received the route change order and never confirmed it to the driver, watched it happen from the back seat. Franz Ferdinand was pronounced dead at approximately 11 a.m. Sophie died within the hour. Austria-Hungary issued its ultimatum to Serbia on July 23rd. It declared war 5 days later. The alliance systems that every European power had spent 20 years assembling activated in sequence. By August, the entire continent was at war. 20 million dead over the next 4 years. 4 empires. A world that did not survive its own chain of command. The record names every link. Pasik's warning, filed and forgotten. Potiorek's plan, anemic by any standard of protective doctrine, approved and executed without objection. The route change, ordered and never confirmed to the driver. Lojka's turn onto Franz Joseph Street, corrected too late. The language that settled over the following century called this fate. It called it a tragedy. It called it history's most consequential wrong turn. The operational log uses a different vocabulary. Potiorek was in the car. He knew the route had changed. He did not speak to the driver. That detail is in the record. It does not appear in most history books. Ask yourself why.